All right, everybody, you're in for a real treat. My next guest is one of America's and my favorite comedians. You know him from his 12 years as one of the greatest cast members ever on Saturday Night Live. He's also a terrific human being. Give it up, everybody, for Darrell Hammond. Darrell Hammond!
Kennedy had commas in illogical places that were, you know, it's so typical that the greatest communicators in the history of this country would have failed an oral interpretation class. I don't know if you've ever been to college, but they would have got an F, you know. I mean, you just think about Diane Ruther, you know, Ted Koppel, you know. They all pause and do things in a strange way. And with Kennedy, he had a thing about you know. There were commas in places that God told him to put them. No, not where some stupid not stupid, but you know, a teacher would have said, "You can't do that. You can't put the commas there. For God's sake, you'll never make a living." Commas in the middle of some prepositions. And we're like, you know, why don't we put Richard Dreyfuss out there? So I got this tape of Jaws, you know, and I started doing, what was his line? Mr. Vaughn, what we're dealing with here is an eating machine. You know? Jesse's like, you say, do you think he likes some dinner? He'd say, I saw it was that apparatus in motion. You see what I mean? The comma doesn't belong there, but when he does it, it's genius. Right. That's how, you know, when he puts his commas where God tells him to, then he's the leading figure of our time, you know? Right. Well, the beauty of him is that, you know, there are very few politicians that are unpredictable. You know, most politicians are going to come up and give you pretty much what you look for and what you expect, but they'll give it to you in a way that, you know, they try to change the way they give it to you. But Sharpton will say, I was watching TV one day and I saw Dick Gephardt talking about Homeland Security, and I changed the channel and I saw Joe Lieberman talking about tax cuts. And I changed the channel again, I heard Sharpton say, I did not call Giuliani a bozo. I said bozo could have done just as good a job as Giuliani. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that you know, so I don't know, people expect you to always be like jumping around and doing like when you see you at an airport.
And you can see that sort of vague, sort of sense of disappointment begin to come over their face, and they look for ways to end the conversation and sort of get back to Dubuque, you know.
Sure.
I mean, like, I used to do this thing where I would have him be a sportscaster, you know, and it was hard because you would really have to drink a lot of coffee before you did it, you know. But basically, it was him like reading the paper between commercial breaks, and then he comes back and he goes, they're putting steroids in baseball. You can't impress me by hitting 70 home runs anymore. You want to impress me? Do it the way Babe Ruth did it, with a 12 Boilermaker hangover and a scorching case of the clap. You know, sometimes the voice occurs in your throat, and I'm not trying to sound like a doctor or a professor, but it occurs somewhere in there very close to someone else's, you know. If you know, like in Phil Donahue, you know, in the limited time we have available, you know, that's more in the front. But if you take that voice and shove it into the back, you've got Ted Koppel. You see? He's trying to bait me.
Is he saying something?
No, I said you're trying to get me. You're very good at this, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Darrell. Well, you're very good
not
at what
easy.
you do. But it's me being. I gotta tell you something. It's me being selfish, because I play, and I'm not trying to drop names at all, but I play poker with Hank Azaria, who does a lot of voices on The Simpsons, and no one wants to ask him to do anything when you're playing cards. So I'll always try to subtly get to be like...
So this is how you learn how to do this?
Yeah, pretty much.
By digging at Hank Azaria.
Losing all my money to Hank Azaria, yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much.
Well, that's a pretty good story, but isn't he good at this?
Ah, well, you're very nice.